So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
After years of not getting any bonus content, you are now getting maximum bonus content. That's right, it's the Barbecue Central Show. I'm Greg Rempe. We do it live Tuesdays from 9 to 11. This is bonus content, so that means pre-recorded. In any event, we still do it from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. If you didn't get last week's bonus content, make sure you rush back and get that. A conversation with Michael Simon, Iron Chef, Food Network TV star, daytime Emmy award-winning TV host, all that fun stuff. We have a really great 35-minute conversation about a number of live fire grilling topics and barbecue topics. But today, we have new bonus content. One of the favorite guests that we have semi-regularly is Annella Kelso from Snake River Farms, and they have a number of things that are going to be going on here, not only the next couple of weeks, but into 2019, and I wanted to make sure that we got that all in before the end of the year, so we'll go ahead and race to the hotline and welcome back Annella Kelso to the show. Annella, how you doing?
Doing awesome. How are you doing today?
Absolutely great. Appreciate you making time for some bonus content here on the show. And, you know, things have really ramped up from a show perspective. We're booked way out through the end of the year, actually into the first part of the year. So that's a good thing from a popularity and growth standpoint. But I want to make sure that for my special partners and people whose products that I appreciate and that I continue to want to expose, which is Snake River Farms is one of them, of course, to get you on before the end of the year hits, because there are some big things that are going on. It's not just about the products that you guys sell, but for the folks that don't know, Snake River Farms is very steeped into the competition barbecue world scene. And it's not just trying to sell products in, it's also giving back to the barbecue community. And, you know, some of the big name purveyors of meat have really made quite the splash here over the last couple of years by not only trying to make some money, but actually reinvest into the sport that has helped gain popularity and some notoriety. Smithfield is obviously one of them, and then Snake River Farms, which you're a part of, is doing that as well with that Snake River Farms Brisket Challenge. So I guess let's start there, right? Let's talk a little bit about what the Brisket Challenge... Well, let's back it out a little bit. For the folks that aren't familiar with it, let's talk about why it was launched initially and then what the 2019 version will look like compared to years past.
So we do every year. We started, this is I think the fourth year that we've done them. We started the SRF Challenge where we pick a few contests and we go out and we try to go all over the country, contrary to what some folks think. We try to go all over the country. We started out with 1 and then it became 4 and then it became 6. And we come out and we offer up, you know, more money in the brisket category. You know, if you're cooking SRF, you have the option to win these bigger purses. We usually put $1,500 extra into the brisket category. And then and then we also put $500 more in for the GC, or you get your choice of 2 briskets. It's up to you. And then what people really love is we give away a custom Gateway drum smoker. And there have been people who've called Gateway and asked them, like, hey, can we get one of these? And you have to win them. And there have been a few teams that have won multiple drums. And they keep them as trophies, which I've never quite understood. Like, cook on them.
Well, so here's the thing, right? I mean, if you call Gateway and they tell you, no, we can't do that. I mean, that if they did that would take away the mystique of that particular cooker because of how it's branded and all these things. And if you already have one and you are using it to cook on, if you win another one, and then maybe another one, I mean, you already have one that maybe you're already cooking on, so there's no reason to foul the other 2 or 3 or whatever it is. So why not keep it as a really cool, big-looking trophy?
And folks love them, and it's kind of become this thing. Like I said, it's the only way you can get one is to win one, and people love it. And we come out and we do demos and we do kids queue, and it's really just it's kind of about like bringing the fun back to barbecue, or not that it ever left, but like keeping the fun in it and making it. I mean, it's always game time Friday night into Saturday, or Saturday night into Sunday, and it's very serious. And so it's really cool to be able to come in and do like this year we did some Friday night bites stuff with the MBBQL, and watching these guys like go head to head, and Darren bringing out fire extinguishers to grind his own meat right there at the car. Like that kind of stuff is fun. And it's cool for us to be able to get to introduce other fun cuts. So it's not just brisket anymore. It becomes, we were doing culottes, and we're doing tri-tips, and we're doing terrace majors. And so really giving the audiences and the people opportunity to do this, and then as well as the teams.
So how does one, do you apply to be a part of, or to be potentially a part of a Snake River Farms Challenge?
Yeah, and so we did 6 this year, and I will give a shout out to the teams and the places we've been. We went to Fire on Ice out in Minnesota, which out of the 6 that we've done this year, I tease that the best weather we've had at any event was in Minnesota in February.
Go figure, right?
And I'm not joking. Like, we got there between 2 storms, and it was beautiful. And that event is so cool. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or been, but it's like, where they do it out on Lake Mille Lacs, and they set the teams up out on the ice, and it's really cool. And so Rub My Rack won out there. We did the double in Wisconsin at Masters in May, and Smokey D's won one day, Fergalicious won the next day, and then Clark Crew won overall and took home another drum. I think he's got a collection of them. Him and Darren are kind of collecting those things right now.
Yeah, they win a lot.
We did the Grasshopper out in DeSoto, Kansas, and Slaps Barbecue won that one. Papa Joe's Banjo BQ in Evans, Georgia. Smoke Me Silly won. We went out to the Wild West Shootout out in Nevada, and Old Town Franklin Barbecue won that. And then down in Temecula, Smoked Seduction one. So it's pretty cool when you get to talk to teams who are like, this is the first time I've ever cooked your product, and I love it. And so it's really good for us. And so then we get to work with the promoters to really, amp up their payouts. But then to also, like I said, kids queue is always super important to me. I love to watch the kids do their thing. So we always do that. We do big potlucks on Friday night. So we have, if you go to, and I probably should have sent you this first, but it's just snakeriverfarms.com /SRF challenge. And you can scroll down and you can submit for your contest to be part of it. And we're accepting applications through the end of the month, so a couple more weeks. And then we'll announce all of the contests that we'll be going to by the end of the year.
Now, of course, I'm not asking you for hot buttons, but if you are a competition or an event and you want to take part in this or give yourself the best shot, like, obviously there's things that you're looking for. There's going to be region of the country taken into account. I'm sure there's longevity of the competition. There's a lot of different things that you guys are probably looking at in order to make a decision. So, I mean, are there things that, the first year or the 20th year competition really has to have these minimum criteria in order to be considered?
After the weather this year, I'm just picking everything that has nice weather. So if you're...
See you, Northeast.
So sorry about that to the rest of the country. Like, I'm just going to the beach. No, we actually do. We look a lot for it's not we want something that's going to have a festival, not necessarily a festival to it, but extra components. We look for the kids queue. We look for public facing. We look for events where some of the teams can do demos or those kind of things. We look at that, but it's not, and really we just look for good contests that teams love. It doesn't have to be a great big huge contest. We generally try to get out to the contests that have more teams, just because it makes more sense for us to be there. But I mean, we've been at contests that have had 25 teams. We've been at contests that have had 100 plus teams. And so just good contests, great organizers, and it's really easy to hear about those. When we post on Facebook and those kind of things, like, hey, we're taking applications, it's really the teams who reach out to the promoters and reach out to us and reach out to me and say, like, you should really consider this contest. People love it. And I love a philanthropic piece as well. So most of the events that we do, we look at if they're doing a charity, if they have a charity component, and what they're doing. You know, we helped raise a lot of money for Faith's Lodge in Minnesota. We've done the Gold Ribbon Barbecue Fest in Wisconsin, where they raised money for the Golden House. And so we do a lot of those kind of things as well when they're doing like VIP dinners, or, you know, like I said, we really love like the Friday night barbecue potluck. We've kind of started that out in like in Nevada and California, and Sterling from Big Papa, he's really good about, like, you know, James always cooks and we all get together, and it's a good time. It's a good time when you get like everyone in the event to just come together. At the Royal, we did like a hot dog social, and there were like 400 people that showed up to eat hot dogs, and it was a super cool event because it was everybody. It doesn't matter what you cook, where you're from, what you're doing. Thursday night, Friday nights, those are the nights where you get to like hang out and have fun and be the family.
What's the deadline for application for 2019?
End of November. Okay. So 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And then when would you start unveiling who the SRF events are going to be?
We give ourselves through December to select. I have a bit of a hiccup in December. I'm having some surgery done on my ankle, so I'm going to be MIA for a couple of weeks. I don't think we need to be making any decisions during those 2 weeks. Yeah. But so by the end of the year, we'll select, and we'll let everybody kind of know what we're doing and where we're going. We don't really have any. We've had some that we've kind of gone to each time. Like we usually always do one in California. We always try to do one on, you know, down south, up north, Midwest. You know, we try to get them everywhere. But yeah, submit them, because I look at every single application that comes through. You
had mentioned you like philanthropic pieces, and I don't know if he gets nearly enough credit for being as philanthropic as he is, because a lot of people like to take him to task for speaking the truth about competition barbecue, and that's Sterling Ball at Big Papa Smokers. In just a couple weeks, in its own right, the King of the Smoker is going to be taking place. This will be the last iteration of the King of the Smoker as we know it. I believe there's been some gearing where Smithfield might be taking over, this and that. But as you have known King of the Smoker, in a couple of weeks, this will be the last version of that. And I know Snake River Farms has been a part of that. So talk to me a little bit about what you like about King of the Smoker and how you're taking part. We've worked with Sterling and Big Papa for a long time. We support, we do the briskets for the guinea pig events, which, started out in California and are just awesome. King of the Smoker is a contest that is just, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And if you don't get out there, can't get out, you have the opportunity to get out there this year, I would suggest getting tickets and getting the rooms and going, because it is a really great time. Sterling raises a lot of money for pediatric kidney disease. He's never been shy about why he does that. His son is here because of folks like him who raise the money for this. So it's obviously an incredible cause. And when you see him get up there and talk about it, and he gets teary-eyed, and Casey's standing right there, I mean, it's the reason that we all do what we do. This year, I don't know that I've ever been more excited for a contest ever in my life. When you start throwing out names like Scott Nelson and Ryan Newstrom and Tippy and Scott Key, I mean, I don't think Palm Springs is ready for what's about to hit them in a couple weeks. And we're always excited. We provide the briskets for this product. We do a lot of stuff with the vending and those kind of things. The classes are next to none. It's super fun, and the teams love it. It's a really cool event where everybody just kind of kicks back, and everybody can say, "Oh, I don't care if I was invited or not." But yeah, people care, because it's definitely the one to go out to and to be a part of, and just to see these guys and these families, and the hell that they give each other when they're out there. There's a lot of smack talking that goes on at King of the Smoker, and a lot of fun. You throw the top, 10 teams in the country, and then some of these, it's been kind of funny to watch people say, and they're not sure if,
big T's can come back and cook after hiatuses and stuff. I don't think people know
let's call me out right here on my own show. When Sterling was on doing the unveiling, I said, hey, you have guys like Tippy, you have guys like Scott and Ryan. And look, if you go back and look at their track record, there is no arguing how good they were when they were out there humping it. The only question I had was, if you take a layoff, is it like riding a bike, or do you need to have the reps in order to get, because this isn't like rolling into Cleveland, Ohio barbecue. This is all of the big names that have been humping it over the course of the year. So that was my only question. And I think that kind of invigorated some folks a little bit, which was great to see. And again, certainly no question how good these cooks have been, and probably how good they still are, because I think to a certain degree, it is like riding a bike for these guys. They know the methods, they have the procedures and the processes, they have the trophies and the winning behind them. So I think I agree with you. It's absolutely going to be incredible to watch these guys come in against and throw down. And it's really, as Sterling has said on many occasions when we talk about King of the Smoker, it's not necessarily who's finishing first. You don't want to see your name in 25th place.
Yeah, and it is, like I said, it's a hell of a contest. It's a lot of money raised for a good cause. It's a lot of good times. If people think that they're just, they're just going out and it's just kind of a fluff contest or whatever, it's not. It's fun. And these teams work their butts off to get there. And it's going to be, I think it'll be pretty cool. They're going to cook gold briskets. This all kind of started because I called Sterling and I was like, these teams all cook our stuff and I don't want them cooking something else. Even if it's just for one contest, I get a little territorial. And so I was pretty excited about it, when we kind of made the partnership and we started doing it. And we kind of started with like, we're just going to throw black briskets out on whatever size. And then we started doing sized briskets. And I think this year, I figure it's the last one, we'll go big or go home. They're going to do like 20+ pound gold grade briskets. So.
Wow. That's going to be great.
It'll be good. Even the vending this year, we're doing SRF briskets. So it'll be a worthwhile event for sure.
That'll be a competition to see how it actually unfolds. Can't wait for the results on that. Outside of the competition stuff, obviously Snake River Farms is vending to people just like me and the normal Jane and Joe. And if you have a couple extra bucks, or you've always wanted to stretch a little bit and have the best of the best, whether it is on the pork side or the beef side, Snake River Farms certainly delivering in that. So as the holidays are coming in, I'm sure you guys are incredibly busy at this point, getting those hams and the roast and all that stuff out. So I guess from a business perspective, what's it like for you guys, and what do you see trending as popular items right now?
On the e-commerce side of things, this is our busiest time of year, as with any e-commerce, retail platform. This is go time, and we see a lot of, this is prime rib roasting, Manhattan roasts. The tomahawks have been huge this year. The tomahawks, we also have a cowboy steak now in this. So it's just, so we have a long bone and a short bone, bone and ribeye. Our hams kind of have a cult following, which is kind of weird to say about a ham, but if you ever find yourself with nothing to do, go read the reviews on our hams, because they are hilarious and awesome and truthful. But we've always just had this group of people who they may only buy one thing a year, but they buy a ham at Christmas. And the hams are phenomenal. The roasts are phenomenal. If you just want steaks, the steaks are great. We have a dry age program now. So if dry age is your thing, we work with a company out of New York, Prime Food Distributors, and they dry age all of our product. They do a lot of dry aging for companies across, you'd be kind of blown away if you knew the names of all the
Release the names at once. Let's hear them.
Yeah. Well, they work with a lot of companies, La Frida, they do, labels and those kind of things. If you're familiar with Nusret, the Salt Bay,
of course,
he, so Nusret uses all of our product in his restaurants, nice. And so they do a lot of aging and hand cutting. So, but they age everything. They hand cut it. So when you order it, the day you order it, we send it over to them. They hand cut that day, and then they ship right then. Wow. And so, if dry age is your thing, or if you haven't tried it, try it, see what you think. A lot of people like it. I think mostly I'm a big fan of our roasts at Christmas time. I mean, my family does prime rib every year for Thanksgiving and for Christmas, and that's just, I mean, we're a beef family. But we've got some new seasonings that we're getting ready to release.
All right.
So we've got a really cool roast rub, a steak rub, and a pork rub. And the steak rub is hands down probably one of the best things I've ever had on a steak. It's phenomenal, and everyone, like, we're very much a salt and pepper company. And when we tried this, it was just like, oh, okay, yeah, we would support this. So
I would imagine
those will be out next week.
Okay, next week. So, and I would imagine, given what you're selling, there has to be not a worry or whatever, but when you're buying a cut of meat of your caliber, you don't want to hide what that meat is offering you on its taste profile all by itself. So you have to have something that's going to work in concert or be complementary.
Yeah, and that's really what we tried to do with these. And it's taken a long time to get there. And we, going back and forth on, do we want to do this? Do we want to, and we chose yes. And we just went with the 3, and it's been great. And so, yeah, it's been a fun time. Like I said, we've definitely loved barbecue and what we're doing. We also do the 180 club. So when you cook, if you get a 180, you submit it, and we do $100 gift certificate, and then you get the 180 swag, which also the only way you can get it is to win it. And then in December we do like a big drawing and giveaway for like a 180. We do another drum giveaway. We put all those names in a drum and draw out and give away another drum. Tim and the folks over at Gateway, they're great partners, and they do, I love that they can customize anything for us. So far this year, in KCBS, there's 86 180s in brisket, and 64 of them are SRF briskets. So right now there's, you get there's 64 teams in the bucket to hopefully win another drum. So if you have a 180 and you haven't signed up, that's also out on the website.
That's like an 80% winning percentage for you guys.
Yeah, last year there were 75 briskets in KCBS, and 54 of them were, yeah. And then you have the teams who get multiples. I think Shake and Bake had 6 180s last year. Getting Basted has 4 of them this year. So yeah, it's fun, and and it's really cool. Like when we're out and about and we get to see folks in the shirts and stuff like that. And so it's really fun to see, like I said, that's ultimately, we want to be able to give back to barbecue too. It's important to do so.
From an e-commerce,
I don't want to see barbecue go anywhere.
We could have that discussion on a different day, but
yeah, I think that's a good plan.
From an e-commerce standpoint, are there certain dates that you want to hit, like for cutoff, or if you order after this, like you may or may not get it, or what?
I know that we have, and it's all out on the site. Go take a peek at it. Yep. We also do a lot of corporate gifting. So I don't know if people who are doing corporate gifting out there tend to think about, we could send steaks. But we have some really cool stuff. We've got brand new packaging, which is phenomenal, and it is super biodegradable. It's actually made of like a pressed cornstarch, and so you just run it under hot water in your sink, and it disappears, which is pretty cool. Or you can use it as knee pads, like Darren did at a contest recently. So we've got some really cool opportunities for corporate gifting, and there's some pretty hard deadlines on those dates, just because if we're going to do things special, we have to have time to do that. Christmas falls on a Tuesday this year, so we will only ship to the Saturday prior. My biggest suggestion is order right now. Everything that we ships frozen. It's going to stay in your freezer until you need it. Buy them now. We have some really cool, I think a early Black Friday email went out today. So sign up on the email list. If you're not getting our emails, it's the best way to stay in touch on steak promos, brisket promos, anything that we have going on. There'll be Black Friday, there'll be Cyber Monday. But really, truly, like if you're going to buy for the holidays, I always say buy early. Put it in the freezer. Cook it when you need it.
Buy early, buy often. And she is the meat maven from Snake River Farms, Annella Kelso, taking a few minutes, adding some bonus content here, talking about the Snake River Farms Brisket Challenge coming up next year. You got a couple weeks left to make sure that you get your stuff in there and hit those deadlines. Also, the impending King of the Smoker, which will be the last version of the King of the Smoker as we know it, and then helping me out on the e-commerce side as well. And now, anything else before I let you get back to work?
Now, eat beef. That's the goal
There you go.
for
Could be
2019. Everybody
could be the seventh rule of the show: eat beef. Sounds great.
Eat beef.
Annella, always appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks so much.
Thanks again to Annella Kelso from Snake River Farms. If you are somebody that's putting on a barbecue competition and you're hoping to get your applications in for the Snake River Farms Brisket Challenge in 2019, you have a couple weeks left, end of November, so make sure you get on the ball and get your application submitted ASAP. Also, if you're going to be out by the King of the Smoker in the next couple weeks, that's the first weekend in December, I believe. Snake River Farms will be out there too, doing some promotion, providing the meats, all that good stuff. It is a great barbecue experience, fan-friendly. So if you are going to be in the area, make sure you pick up tickets, attend those classes, and meet all the stars out there. And then, obviously, for all the e-commerce needs, snakeriverfarms.com. Check out the roasts. I highly recommend, if you are into ham, the Carabuta half ham. It is literally life-changing. I'm not lying. Little expensive, well worth it. You owe it to yourself this year to have a Carabuta ham. And then tell me if it's not as good as I'm telling you. We'll be back live on Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Hit the website, thebbqcentralshow.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at BBQ Central Show. And like me over on the Facebooks /BBQ Central Show. Until next bonus content or until next live show, it's your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.